Congressman, you just mentioned it before the break. Another big debate right now is over freedom of speech. President Trump has been kicked off Twitter and Facebook for posting lies and inciting terrifying behavior. So what, if anything, should Congress do to address big tech's power to decide who should be allowed in and who should be banned?
Well, look, the one thing we know is that the algorithms on these platforms help amplify extremist content. It's a business choice made in pursuit of profit. That's what this is all about. I mean, I saw a report recently that Facebook's own research revealed that 64% of the time that a person joins an extremist Facebook group, they do so because the platform recommended it. So, look, some of these tech companies, we've talked about this on your show before, are too big. They're out of control. They need to be broken up. But this is a problem, and it's something that we're going to have to focus on very carefully.
Congressman, as you know, the president-elect has the power to either stop or to continue providing intelligence briefings to the outgoing president. Should Donald Trump continue to get them when he leaves office?
I don't believe he should. I don't trust him. I mean, he's a clear and present danger to the people of this country and to the world. Absolutely not. I mean, he stoked this terrible riot that occurred here on the 6th. And by the way, it's not just about the big lie about somehow that he won the election and Joe Biden stole it. I mean, it's just a big lie. There's no factual basis. But, we're about to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. This also was about white supremacy. I mean, the people that gathered here included white supremacists, neo-Nazis, the Proud Boys. They were bringing Confederate flags to the Capitol. I mean, it made me sick to my stomach. So let's understand, this guy should not be trusted with America's secrets, period.
We can't let you go without asking you about what happened about a week and a half ago. Everyone has seen the video. A lot of our viewers just saw it a few minutes ago. You were standing just a few feet away from the rioters that were breaking glass, and they were trying to enter the House lobby, and where the woman protester was shot and killed just moments later. Now that you've had a little bit of distance, how have you processed that moment?
Yeah, no, look, I was in disbelief because I couldn't believe that such a crowd could breach the United States Capitol. And when I walked out into the Speaker's lobby and I saw through those glass doors these people, these homegrown fascists, if you will. I mean, I saw evil in their eyes. I saw hate in their eyes. They were here to desecrate property. They were here to kidnap and kill people. And I will never, ever forget it. All I could think about was the safety of my colleagues and other people who work up here.
How worried are you about Wednesday?
I feel that we're this probably the most secure place on the planet right now. I mean, because you can't get anywhere near the Capitol. I'm not scared, but I am sad. I am sad that we're going to have an inauguration that is going to be, heavily fortified, where regular people can't be here. So I'm sad about that, and I am regretful that we're at this point. And I'm going to just say one other thing. And to some of my Republican colleagues who are, talking about healing the nation right now, you can't heal until there's truth, until there's accountability. Some of these people gave oxygen to these conspiracy theories, and quite frankly, I'm pissed at them.
Congressman, before you go, I wanted to share a text that I got from a viewer that said that, and I'm going to read it right to you. He said, 7 months to get peasants $600. Again, the reality of the coronavirus. I add that parenthetically. 7 months to get peasants $600 and 10 hours to impeach the president. Where are our priorities?
Yeah. Well, first of all, what happened here was an attempted coup, an insurrection, a threat to our democracy. That's a big deal. So that has to be a priority. But we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We need to crush this virus. Unfortunately, the Trump administration has done nothing to try to get the vaccine out to the people that need it. I mean, we're so far behind in what their projections are. Joe Biden is going to bring some adults to the table. He's bringing the best medical experts in the world together to figure out not only how we crush this virus, but how we get the vaccine out to as many people as possible. He's outlined his plans. I am confident that he's going to do that. But, what the president's Trump's inattention to this pandemic is criminal, There may be 400,000 people dead by the time that Joe Biden gets inaugurated as president. And that is a sad, sad, sad reality and a terrible, another terrible addition to this president's legacy.
Congressman, thank you so much for your time. It is great to see you. Congressman Jim
Thank
McGovern,
you.
live from Washington,
Be
D.C.
safe.
Be well, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.